This is an eyelash extension how-to video. In this video I'm using Designer Lash's soft split flat lashes. They are a flat lash, they are not cylindrical, they look darker and they look fuller than your usual cylindrical classic lash. In this video I show you how I do 2D flat lash classic lashes. I start by using lint-free applicators and a lash shampoo, and I shampoo and rinse out the lashes. This is going to remove any oils, any makeup, any debris from the lashes to make sure they are squeaky clean so that the lashes will adhere to them and stay on. I rinse out the lashes with an airbrush machine. The tank contains water. This rinses out the shampoo from the lashes. After shampooing and drying the lashes, I put on an eye pad. I place an eye pad under the eye over the bottom lashes to hold the bottom lashes out of the way under the pad. When the eye is shut, the top lashes and the bottom lashes look the same. After this, I use Unicorn Tears by Locks Lash, and I make sure I swipe through the natural lashes with a little bit of Unicorn Tears placed on the microfiber brushes. Unicorn Tears helps to put the natural lashes at the right pH balance for the glue to adhere and for the best retention. I have marked out where I want to put lashes. All I've done is indicated 3 sections to myself. This looks a little off in the video because the camera is situated on the right hand side of where I'm filming, and so when I look directly over it, it looks correct to me. But the way the camera is angled, it looks like I haven't sectioned the eyeball correctly. From my point of view, looking directly over the eye, it did look correct. So I get started. To start off with, I'm just using an 11mm 0.15 flat lash. In this case, I'm just using one. I'm showing you how I separate the lash, and I look for a bottom row. The reason I look for a bottom row of lashes is because I'm putting the longer lashes in first. So my longest lashes will be 11. I'll be using 10, 9 and 8, maybe some 7s in there as well. You can see again I've got 2 lashes. They are long lashes, they would be 11s, and I've placed that on a middle row of lashes. I am angling them slightly outwards. All I'm doing to begin with is I'm placing 10 and 11 lengths within the section that is from the middle of the eye to the third of the outer eye. So I'm wanting to keep my longest lengths within this section. So I'm moving away from the area I just placed a lash, and I place this lash extension to where the middle of the eye is. For this one, it's another 11mm lash. I don't want to put my longest lengths on the outer section because this can make the eye look longer, it can make the eye look droopier, it can just pull it down, and so I really keep my longest lengths into this section, which is from half of the eye out to 1/3 of the outer eye. I'm looking for middle to lower row of lashes so that I can apply the longest length I'm using on this set. I do try not to place lashes right next to one another so that I can avoid stickies. I don't always do this, but if I can, I will. Sometimes when I'm trying to pick up 2 flat lashes, I don't actually pick up 2 with my tweezers. Sometimes I just get 1. I don't tend to faff around with it and worry about trying to get 2. If I pick up 1 from the 2 I'm trying to pick up, I place the 1 on the lashes. I'm okay with that. So moving from side to side in that 1/3 of the lashes, where I'm placing the longest lashes, which in this case again are 11mm C-curl 0.15 flat lashes. These are called soft splits. They have a split in the end of them already. It's a very fine split. So in this case there's kind of double splits because I'm picking up 2 of these flat lashes. We're still going through applying the longest, looking for the middle to lower rows. as I work, I go through the lashes which have been applied, and I'm looking to make sure they have not actually ended up sticking to one another. The adhesive I'm using is Holy Grail. It can set quite quickly, but there's still enough time to find a lash, isolate a lash, and place the lash extension on. So far, I've been going through and mainly applying the 11s. We're coming over to the other side of the half of the eye, so the inner side of half of the eye, and you can see this is a 10. So I've started to move into the other section of the eye, placing the 10s on now. I'll work within this section placing the 10mm lashes so that I can start seeing how the actual design is forming. Because I'm placing 10s within this section, I'll also apply the 10mm to the outer section as well. In this way you can move from side to side with the same size, and then you can avoid stickies. I'm using a biogel. I use that just to pull over the lashes that I've completed in order to help separate the natural lash. This one here is an 11. It does have a kink in it, so when I've picked it up, I've bent it, unfortunately. I've left it on there. It may come off later, but when I go through for a final check, I find a couple I don't like, I'll just peel them off. One thing with the flats is if you don't get the tip of them correct and together, they won't apply very well. They'll come off. So if they do have too much of a square base, I don't find that they actually stay on the natural lash very well. This is how I pick up the 2D lashes. This is what I do in order to stick them together so they make more of a point, and then I dip them in the adhesive and apply them. Because there is a groove in the flat lashes, I want the groove to be available to stick on to the natural lash, kind of like a Lego. So by flicking them, I'm flicking each lash one over top of the other so that the groove of the bottom lash is still available to sit on the lash nicely. Here you can see this is another lower lash. I do gently kind of rock it or move it up and down to check it's sticking to the natural lash. So I remove the biogel just a little bit and I poke in the lashes I've completed. So it kind of holds them away, out of the way for me as I work, which is really good. It's actually quite a nice little trick to use. This is another 11mm. You can tell it's almost as long as her own lash. This will be a 10mm lash or maybe a 9. So I give them a little brush as I work, and then I start bringing in the mirror because I want to see how is the pattern looking, how is the style from underneath looking. This will be a 10mm. This is going to go on the outer corners. 10mm will not go right to the ends. I'll use 9s right in the corners. I do use my finger as I work. My hands are washed. I don't have any issues with using my fingers. I see lots of lash techs doing it. It helps me. It's like an extra tool as I work. I've got a 10 that will be going in here. This looks like it could be a lower lash. This one is interesting. I haven't actually got a really good base on this lash. You can see it's twisted. It's twisted over each other in order to create like a square. And so it wouldn't end up sticking to the lash. So I disposed of it and placed a new one there. And this is another 11. That looks like a lower lash to me. He's not going on very well, so I redip him. Sometimes I'll decide to just abandon a lash, and sometimes I will just redip and try it again. We keep going through and tidying everything up as I go. This looks like another 11 or a 10. It's hard to tell from this angle, but you can probably see the pattern that's emerging in the style that I'm creating. So if I was doing 11s on the bottom, I would be using 10s or 9s on the top layers. Again, I've chosen a shorter one for the bottom here. That's because it was a shorter natural lash. I am checking to make sure they aren't sticking to one another as I work. They will stick to one another on occasion. If you're isolating well, they don't tend to stick to one another, but sometimes when you push lashes out of the way to find another lash, they can stick together. If you use a little bit of adhesive, that makes it easier to separate them from one another. So that's one of the bonuses about using a good adhesive that dries reasonably fast and you don't need much of. So I've used the Biogel to push aside the lashes I've completed, and that's really separated out the lashes that I'm working on now. It stretches out the eyelid, it removes the lashes I've worked on so they're out of the way. It's super helpful to use something to assist you with keeping lashes out of the way so you can work in sections. I definitely will be choosing to use the 11mm on the lower natural lash. I won't want to put those on the top because I know that they will poke out and I know that they will end up just looking way higher than the others. And you've probably seen it on sets you've done in the past. When you place a really long one on the top layer of lashes or rows of lashes, it ends up just sticking out way above the rest. This will be a 10. I am working within one section and the lashes are quite close together, but because they're stretched out, they shouldn't stick to one another. But as I work, I do go through and check that they aren't sticking together. This looks like a 10. And I place that one underneath by the looks of it. Sometimes it's easy to place the lash extension underneath. Sometimes it's easy to place them on top. And there you go, there's the mirror showing me what I've done. I can see if there's any lashes that look like they're not in the right place this way. Now I would have moved down to 9mm. So now I'll be placing the 9mm within the 1/3 of the inner corner, the very outer of this lash set, and looking for any upper row natural lashes that I can place the 9mm on. Normally I can see the lash that I want to get before I choose the lash that I take off my strip, and that's the one that I'll go for when I place them on. You can probably see that sometimes the lash extension that I put on looks really close to size to the natural lash that I'm lashing. This is because the curl and the darkness, this is what makes the difference to the lashes. This is why I don't generally choose lashes that are double the size of the natural lash. You can see I did separate and remove some that had stuck together. Sometimes when lashes stick together, they'll come off. This is a 9. You can see the 9mm, and you could see I didn't place that well. I was kind of figuring out where to place it as I was working. No, I didn't like that one, so I chose another one. There we go. I want to be able to stretch the skin get to the lashes, use the tweezers to separate them, use a bio gel. If I really have to work hard to isolate the lashes, then I'm not using enough tools to help me get to those lashes, if that makes sense. You can see I'm using some Nichiban tape. I've used this tape to stretch halfway from the eyelid over to the iPad. So I've taped it to the iPad after I stretched the eyelid across. So we're still going in with the 9s and the 8s. We're doing the inner corners. Not quite to the real inner corners yet. Just placing the sizes in to get the style and design in there. I know that from this point of view the lashes can look really messy. This is why I recommend using a mirror, because then you can see what's standing out, what lashes look too high, where you need to go next, where there's gaps. So really probably what I needed to do is stretch the skin more, get lashes out of the way. I've obviously decided I wasn't happy because lashes were coming off, so I've used bio gels in this case. I've used one in order to get the lashes out of the way because they are sticking together in this region. So stretching the skin and a bio gel, that's helping me find the lashes and keep them away from one another as I complete them. Natural lashes have areas where they're like forests. They're just so dense and they're stuck to one another, and they can be a little bit harder to lash. I will admit inner corners have never been my favourite, and I really had to work on making myself spend the time on the inner corners to make sure that they are spread out from one another so that I can get the lashes in there. There's lashes that have stuck to one another, and you can see they just slid off the natural lash. They came off as I separated them. I don't want them to stay. I wouldn't want them to fall off 2 days later and the client see, oh, I've lost 2 lashes already. I just want to remove them now. I want to do them properly, and if it means they stuck together as I was working and I didn't notice till later, they just get taken off and I put new ones on. You can see they're looking thicker now. So these will be 10s. These will be the remaining little area there where I can see there's still some more lashes to go. This will be a 9mm. And this is another 9. Again, they're sticking together. I would say by this stage I would be getting a little bit, not annoyed, but I would be like, stop sticking together. Stop it, kind of thing. What I should have done is I should have worked in a different area. I should be placing one and then I should be going to maybe the outer corner. So I just didn't. I was working away trying to film for this video and just trying to make sure that I was placing them on well enough to see what I was doing. It was a little bit difficult to work under a camera and not have my head come into shot. So if you can bear in mind that I'm not directly over the client, and for filming we've done our best. So we're removing the tape so I can see how the lashes are looking all together. I like to brush my lashes as I go. I use a silicone brush because it doesn't pull out the lashes, it doesn't snag on any of the bases. So we can see now the lashes. You can see that they have gone up in size as I've gone across. I just roll the mascara brush through the lashes. I am gentle enough, but I'm also trying to make sure that if any lashes aren't attached really well, that they are coming out, because I don't want them to stay if they've not been attached well. This is where I use the biogel nearer to the end in order to stick up all of the lashes I've completed, because then I can see the baby lashes at the bottom. Now I can see a gap right there within halfway from the eyelid. So because there's a gap, I'm going to pop some more lashes in there. That would have been 10mm lashes. Once you can see the style that you're creating, then you can go through and you can really look for where you've missed lashes. You can start placing extra lashes within the set. Here we go in to the inner corner, very, very inner corner. This will be a 7. Look how tiny that is. It's such a tiny little lash compared to the others. I do drop down from about halfway. You can see I'm dropping down in size from about halfway along the lid. And then we concentrate on the outer corners. This is where I'll be putting my 9s. I don't go down to 7s on the outers. I still keep them a little bit longer on the outer corners. There's actually quite a few natural lashes that still need lashing within the outer corner here. This one is a good example of bad application. I'm just including it in it because I'm not perfect, and I'm sure a lot of lash techs aren't perfect. So I've kept it in to show you. It was placed on the side. It had a bit of a gap between the actual lash and the natural lash, and it really should be solidly on the natural lash, either above or below with the flat lashes. I don't find flat lashes like to sit on the side very well. I don't know why, but I always find looking down on lashes, they can look clumped together, but when you go through, they're not. So I do check this. I do look for isolation. I do look for stickies. I try and remove any that have been incorrectly applied. It's definitely part of doing good lashes is checking your work. Yep, you can see I removed some there. They've stuck together. And really, that's just the whole set. I just wanted to show you the process of working through and doing the lashes. So this is how I do 2D flat lashes. I really like them over cylindrical classic lashes. I really like these because they are dark, they are flat, they stick on really well, and even though they are 0.15, the equivalent of one of these lashes is 0.7 in weight, so 2 doesn't mean that it's unhealthy for the lashes. Hopefully there's something in here that helped you with lashing. Thanks for watching this Galaxy Dreaming Lash With Me video.